Welcome back to another segment of the Access Now project. And my name is Michael Avila, and I'm here today with Michael Boyd, the Director of Professional Development here at the Irish Football Association. Thank you very much for being with us.
No problem, thank you.
So Michael, we're here today to talk about a little bit about what the IFA is doing in the community, and so I just wanted to see what you thought in terms of what role has the IFA played in terms of community and peace building throughout Northern Ireland, maybe over the last several years.
Okay, so we've been very fortunate. We've been funded through Peace 1, Peace 2, Peace 3 and Peace 4 to develop the Football for All project. So we've been using football as a hook to tackle issues around community relations and sectarianism and racism for more than 10 years now. So we've built up quite a program, reaching more than 70,000 young people on a regular basis, and delivering community relations outcomes through football has been a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you think there's something about the use of sport in peace building that's important?
I think it's really a lot more accepted now. I think when we first started working on that, people used to look at it as a bit of a strange coming together, but we were always, from the start of Football for All, we were always trying to use it as a hook to get people in the room, to create a safe space for people to talk about difference and celebrate diversity. And now, we've built up quite a bit of experience in that area, and different government agencies and partners come to us, they ask for help in actually facilitating those sort of conversations. So, for example, the Education Authority work with us so that we deliver programs in schools to make sure that young people are coming together and talking about diversity and good relations, and that's going really well. We do that in partnership with Ulster GAA, so you have Ulster GAA and Irish FA coaches coming into the classroom together. So it's something that's always evolving, and we're always looking to improve.
And Michael, if you want to talk about some of the image transformation that's gone on with the Irish Football Association since maybe around the start of the peace process and where that's gone to now.
Okay, so the Football for All campaign was officially launched in 2000, just after the Good Friday Agreement in '98. And a big part of what we tried to do was around working in partnership with the Northern Ireland Fans group. We were very lucky. There's a group called the Amalgamation of Official Northern Ireland Supporters Clubs, and they joined our Football for All advisory panel, along with members from the Community Relations Council, Ulster University and the Irish FA. So the fans were sitting at the table right from the start, designing the process. So a big focus of the early work was to transform the atmosphere at international games. And unfortunately, the perception was that it was not a place that all of the community could enjoy the game. So we had to address that and work with the fans to create a more family-orientated atmosphere. So a lot of the ideas that we implemented through the EU-funded Community Relations Council-backed Football for All campaign, the ideas came from the supporters, which made it feel like a very grassroots program. So lots of ideas like the Safe Green, the community ticket scheme, creating new songs free from sectarianism, all came through the supporter base. And my job really at the time, as the person leading on the community relations, was to implement those ideas. So Safe Green came from a supporter called Gareth Todd, who's still a big Northern Ireland fan. And Gareth saw the Holland fans, getting behind the team wearing orange to all their matches, and he said, "Why can't we achieve something like that at Northern Ireland games?" And we started up the Safe Green initiative, asking the supporters to wear green and white to the games to show their support for all of the players, and also to encourage a more family-orientated atmosphere. It took off almost straight away, and today when you go to a Northern Ireland match, most people will be wearing the colours of the team, and that was a supporter-driven initiative. And I think visually, that's one of the biggest transformations that you'll see amongst the supporter base, is that people are there to support the team and to wear the colours of the team. And then obviously we had the stadium revamped as well, with support from government, and it's a modern, feeling stadium now compared to what it used to be. So they're probably two of your big visual transformations. And then the more tricky one was creating songs, free from sectarianism, and there was lots of workshops with supporters clubs and groups, and I have to give a lot of credit. There was an unofficial fans website called Are We Country, and they ran a lot of actually before Football for All even started, they were calling on the fans, to create a better atmosphere, and they ran lots of competitions around creating new songs free from sectarianism. And maybe through the Football for All campaign, all we did was support and facilitate, making sure that the supporter base understood what the new songs were about and why we were doing it.
Sure.
And a big part of the why was to strengthen, the image and the sense of belonging around the Northern Ireland team. And one of our biggest strengths as an international sport is the team's always been reflective of the community. If you look at the 58 World Cup team, the 82 World Cup team, the 86 World Cup team, the 2016 Euros team, it's almost been like a 50-50 breakdown of Catholic and Protestant backgrounds, and that's one of our biggest strengths is our shared heritage, and we really built on that with our work with the fans when we were creating those new songs. It was to say, look, everybody from all parts of the community are welcome here. So a lot of things like we're not Brazil, we're Northern Ireland, just even the Green and White Army, chants. A lot of that was underpinned by a lot of conversations in the background saying, okay, how do we get the message across to the players and the wider public that this is an environment that's welcoming to everybody? And I always remember in the early days of the work, we went through a period of about 2 years where the Northern Ireland team didn't score a goal. And the really funny thing is usually when your team's not doing well, support bases decrease. But during that 2-year window, we actually saw lots of new supporters clubs springing up.
That's amazing, yeah.
But it was because there was something happening in the stands which was transforming. And I'm a great believer actually that transformation in the stands has led to a more positive transformation on the pitch, because the players are more connected to the fans, there's more of a togetherness, and when people come here and they play Northern Ireland, they always say it feels like there's 70,000 people, and there's only the guts of 20,000 here.
Yeah, the spirit of it.
The spirit of it and the togetherness of it. Football for All and the Peace-funded Community Relations Council backed work played a massive part in that transformation on and off the pitch.
So Michael, in 2016, Northern Ireland, along with the Irish team, won the Medal of the City of Paris for great sportsmanship in the Euros that year. And do you think in some ways that's a reflection of the people of Northern Ireland and some of the great sense of community that we do have here?
Yeah. I think it's a reflection of the journey the Northern Ireland fans have been on. I remember in 2006, 10 years earlier, they won the Brussels International Supporters Award, which was UEFA backed. And that was for the fans' work tackling the issue of sectarianism and their charity work. And I think a lot of what goes on with the fans is very much, fan-driven initiatives to make sure that there is a safe, fun environment. And in 2016, when they won that award in Paris alongside the Republic of Ireland's football fans, it was because of the fun, safe, inclusive environment they were creating at all the matches. Like I remember standing watching the team in Lyon, and there was more than 20,000 people at that match, all there in the green of Northern Ireland. Actually, more people than you can fit in here in Windsor Park. It was absolutely massive, and the atmosphere was tremendous. Our fans, when they travel, in general, they're brilliant ambassadors. For our country, they like to have a sing-song. They like to have a few beers, but they do it in a nice, fun way. And other countries can actually learn from the way our fans behave, and we get lots of nice feedback. Anytime Northern Ireland play away, we get lots of nice feedback from the home country, the host country, not just from the FA but from their head of police, writing to us and saying your fans were a joy, and I think that's a credit to the Northern Ireland fans. But I think our fans are very aware that they are ambassadors for Northern Ireland, and if we get their major tournament, it's a major celebration for the whole country.
Certainly. So Michael, in terms of community development, what do you see as the future with the IFA and engaging with communities across Northern Ireland?
Okay, I think our Stay On Side programme is really important to us moving forward. And Stay On Side is our work we do around crime prevention and promoting good relations. So at the minute we're in every prison across Northern Ireland delivering a curriculum programme where we cover good relations, mental health, a little bit around youth coach education, and when they come out of prisons we try and signpost them to some of our inclusive clubs, so clubs that have a real community focus. And what we're trying to do there is basically put people on a new path away from crime, where they can actually contribute in a positive way to their local community through football. And the success rate with regards to keeping people out of prisons once they've come through our Stay On Side programme is really high for that sector. and that's something we're really keen to build on. Also, our work in schools around good relations and crime prevention is really important, because the more schools that we're in and connected to, the more support we can give young people with behavioural issues, or maybe from disadvantaged backgrounds that might be on a path that's leading to the youth justice system. We can actually intervene earlier and signpost them into our local hub, our local inclusive club, maybe one of our social programs like street soccer, and give them a more positive area to place their energy into. So stay on side. At the minute we're working with about 100 prisoners a year. We're really on a big push to grow that program and make it more impactful with regards to schools and our inclusive clubs, and stopping reoffending in the future. So that's a big priority. Also ahead of the game is an Irish FA mental health program. Basically there we deliver around 40 free workshops across the country a year, benefits hundreds of clubs. We spent a good 12 months training our staff up in mental health first aid training. Through those workshops, what we're finding out from the grassroots clubs is that sectarianism in the community is leading the poor mental health in a lot of grassroots clubs, and the sort of the legacy and the trauma of the Troubles is still impacting very heavily on young people. So what we try and do there is, with our partners, when issues come up and people come to us on the back of the workshops, is we signpost them in to the appropriate support mechanisms that are already in place. So rather than the Irish FA Foundation delivering programs that are in competition with delivery agencies that already exist, we signpost in to the support mechanisms that are there. So that's working out really well. And I think with a lot of our programs with regards to community and youth development, we try and collaborate where we can with existing departments, with existing NGOs and community groups that are making a big difference. And I think that's where our foundation can add value to the community. But ahead of the game, stay on side, and Shooting Stars is the other one, which is all about getting more girls and females involved in programs right across the country. And we're doing leadership programs, we're doing OCN accredited courses, we're looking at a course with Ulster University for former international players to get them to become role models in the game as well. So we're putting a lot of energy into growing the girls and women's game and creating future employees and volunteers and role models, so that they can lead the growth of the women's game, because that's the biggest area of growth when it comes to the future, next 5 to 10 years. But stay on side's massive for us, and ahead of the game are really big programs coming up.
Michael, do you want to talk about the program Sports Uniting Communities?
Yeah. Okay, so it's currently a peace-funded project through EU Special Programs Body. It's a partnership between Ulster GAA, the Irish FA, and Ulster Rugby. What we do is we use the combined sort of pool of 3 sports to deliver a game of 3 halves. So there's a physical activity sort of benefit to it with young people, but there's also a leadership program, a good relations program, and a BME program that runs alongside it. So we're targeting in the region of about 4,000 people to benefit from this program across Northern Ireland. It's having a really big impact on the ground at grassroots level, because suddenly you're starting to see people that maybe traditionally only volunteered or give their energy to one sport now coming across and coming to be a part of the community.
So they're mixing around in things they wouldn't have been involved in before.
They're mixing really well. So for example, when we have an international night here, we have a big fan zone out at Olympia, and it's volunteer led, and it's a real big sort of community festival on the back of our international games, and we're getting people from GAA clubs volunteering to work at our fan zone.
Amazing.
And they're bringing with them their kids and their community groups, and suddenly you're getting that crossover that just wouldn't have happened without the intervention of the peace program at grassroots level. And we're training the young volunteers up together. So young volunteers are getting an experience of what it's like to volunteer in football, what it's like to volunteer in rugby, what it's like to volunteer in GAA, and the feedback from the clubs about what areas of support they need more help with is coming straight back through that program. So we know for a fact that across all sports, mental health is a massive issue, and suicide prevention is a massive issue. So last year at Queen's we had a conference where the 3 sports came together, and we targeted the young leaders and the future people that are going to drive the sports in the community forward. We're at the conference, and we had a really open discussion around the mental health issues that the sports and the communities are facing. And from that, we developed a bit of an action plan that the new peace program is going to be targeted on. So it's been invaluable, and it also gives young people employability skills and a focus on education that they might not necessarily have had. And in particular, we're targeting disadvantaged areas to make that happen across Northern Ireland. So coming together as three sports makes a massive difference, and we only sort of strengthen each other's arm by doing so.
Yeah. No doubt, Michael, that the IFA is having a major impact in communities throughout Northern Ireland, and I want to thank you for being part of the Atos Nye project, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community soon.
Thank you.